cold at the touch, dead in the eyes, no signs of life no more. I put your love under the knife. Leave me to die here all alone. No signs of life no more, no. A crying dove may never fly. Black and white, no more, baby. Love, no more, baby. Black and white, no more, baby. Love, no more, baby. It's black and white, just let me go. It's only right for all I know. It's only matter. It's calico. It's black and white. Just let me go. It's only right for all I know. It's only matter. It's calico. It's black and white. White, white, white. Black and white. Yeah. Black and white. Oh. Oh. It's black and white. It's black and white.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Simracersworld TV, and we say welcome back to the Porsche Club GB Sim Racing Championship. It is an absolute joy to be covering this series again. Last time out it was absolutely incredible, the series' first ever season, and it was never short of action. We had so much fun covering this last time round. My name is Chaz Draycott. Joining me in the commentary box this season will be Peter MacKay. And, well, Peter, we've been counting down the days, haven't we, mate? This is going to be phenomenal.
Oh, I'm so excited to be back here for, I can't believe we're at the second season already of the Porsche Club of Great Britain Sim Racing Championship. We had a very worthy champion in season 1, Ryan Parkins, the King Hippo himself, and he's been out, he's been keeping himself match sharp, Chaz. He's been in the Porsche Sport Carrera Cup over the last few weeks, battling out with some of the very best in the world in this Porsche 911 Cup car, so he's going to take some beating, but as we'll talk about, there are a number of people to challenge for his crown.
Indeed, and the hippo comments will be plentiful this season, everybody. Do not worry. We're just going to have a quick look then at some of the cars that are out on track. We're looking at Gilles Gardner at the moment, the number 22 car. He's just making his way down the main straight here. We're at Circuit Catalunya Barcelona, or Barcelona-Catalunya, depends which way around you want to say it. And we're using the national layout, so it's not the full Formula 1 circuit. It misses out turns, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. They have this short hairpin at the bottom of the straight, and then they end up in the uphill left-right section of the track. And it's a bit of a difficult corner to get right, isn't it, on this one, Peter, because it's downhill into a braking zone in what is normally an incredibly long and fast straight. But even in this sort of layout, it's still very, very fast into there, isn't it?
Yeah, you're braking from seriously high speed, and we know that there's one particularly challenging aspect is getting these cars slowed down. With that rear engine layout, I always kind of liken it that they want to sort of, when you're braking the car, the rear end wants to almost overtake you and whack you over the back of the head. So they are really difficult to get slowed down. But into that corner, you just look how it's actually a really long corner, but very tight as well, and it keeps tightening. But the exit out of that corner is really important, because we see our championship, our reigning champion Ryan Parkins coming out there. It's a big drag up the hill as well. So that's going to be a vital corner. Now, interestingly, a new rule has been installed for this particular season. It's called the lap 1 contact rule. So if you are deemed to have made a mistake and crashed into somebody and made them spin or go off the track, you have to take yourself for a drive-through penalty. So that's probably going to calm down some of the lap 1 antics, of course, but here, when the lap is so short, that means that as soon as lap 1 is over, the gloves are off, I suppose.
Yeah, you never know. We're hoping for some really good conduct from these drivers in that respect, and I think we'll see that, to be fair. I mean, everyone, as we've seen, I was going to say everyone gets on very well, but Ryan Parkins was not getting on with that very well there. This is Byron Crawford in the number 12 car. Just coming through the very tight left-hander. Do forgive us, by the way, everybody. There are some new liveries that we still have to get used to. Some of them are the same. Chris Bowie with the David Bowie emblem, or just the portrait on the bonnet of this car with the gold instead of the red on the Porsche factory colours. Looks very good indeed. Gavin Halls. Now, we had a lot to talk about with Gavin at the end of last season, didn't we, Peter? And the fact that he was rapid and he was taking race wins. And we saw that he could very well be a championship contender, but he just had a lot of bad luck and a lot of incidents last season. And I think this time round, I mean, looking at him at the moment, he's only, 46 thousandths off reigning champion Ryan Parkins. If he dials that luck in and doesn't have these incidents first time round, he could seriously be the champion of season 2. And I mean, I know it's very early to be saying that, but just based on the pace that he showed last season, it's very possible.
I totally agree, yes. I think Gavin's always had the pace over a lap, but and often if he gets clean away and at the front of a race, he can just clear off. He does have that pace. He's got quite a lot of real-world driving, race driving experience. Driven Formula Ford, actually raced for Ralph Furman of Van Diemen, so he's got a lot of quite significant credentials in real-world motorsport, so he does have the pace. However, last season, as you rightly say, we saw him kind of caught up in a couple of unlucky incidents, some his fault, some that maybe could have been avoidable perhaps. But again, along with Ryan Parkins, he's been driving for Porsche Sport in the Porsche Sport Carrera Cup on Sunday evenings, and that's really that is going to keep them so match sharp and match fit, particularly in this car, which has, as we've talked about a lot in season 1, and I'm sure we will this season, has some unique characteristics. So, I think Gavin is going to be right up the front all season long. I think we're going to see more consistent challenge, and We also have Matt Dorrington back as well. So, and as the timesheets are showing, they are right up there battling for honours right now. But there's a few other drivers to keep our eyes out on. You mentioned is Matthew Dorrington just showing how difficult it is, low track grip here at Catalunya. But yeah, Byron Crawford, one of our newbies in the for the second season of Porsche Club Great Britain. He runs his iRatings 2,100, which is pretty impressive indeed. But it hails from Nottingham, the home of the United Kingdom's only branch of Hooters restaurant. Very important as well. And Stanley, his King Charles Spaniel, will be watching him out on track tonight. Yes.
love a King Charles Spaniel. Colin Wynn, by the way, in that livery in front of him, the number 4, that's a very good looking car. I love a hexagonal pattern, and especially when the colours are nice and contrasting. It's called Infinite Layers, which I imagine is some sort of Photoshop joke. It's also the brand name, but look how the logo fits in with the hexagons. That's very, very pretty. Amrik Sashdev is back for another season as well. Same livery as last time, but that makes it easier for us to identify him out there. And, as mentioned in the chat, Luke Holroyd in the 911. And, well, we all know that livery, don't we? Absolutely gorgeous. And it suits that car as well, which just shows how good a livery it is.
Yeah, Luke is obviously very artistic, and he's done an amazing job. He's designed a lot of the liveries in this championship for people as well. He's also running the if you look there closely on the rear bumper, because I know how much you love chase cam, Chaz, and on the rear bumper of Luke's car, that's the front bumper.
Yeah, we're on board here with Stuart Clark. I was just trying to look back at him, but he's gone.
Oh dear, sorry. And he has there was a badge that James Hunt used to have stitched on his overalls, which just says, insert word here, breakfast of champions.
Yes, I'm a huge fan of said phrase. I actually have a friend who has replica overalls like James Hunt's used to be, and includes said badge. This is Paul Stout in the Manti Racing livery, which we could not miss last season. We've had a bit of an off there for, I think it's that, no, it's not Julien Noizet, it's Andrew Soper, no relation to Steve as far as I know. And we've got a car on the inside there. Oh, Stuart Clark's off as well. He's parked it. There's a couple of cars dotted about all over the place. Dan Bathy, by the way, he's got an updated livery on that car, a bit more red in terms of the flashes up the side. You can see the pink pig is back as well. Not the driver of the car. That's Andrew Marston going straight on. But Dan Bathy's car looks very menacing this season. He's ready for a clean start in this one.
Yeah, he looks absolutely fantastic there. And of course, Dan is a photographer for the Porsche Carrera Cup Championship, so travels around with the championship, taking lots of lovely photographs as well. And I believe Sacred Coffee are the official coffee of the Porsche Carrera Cup. So if you go into an awning at the one of the Carrera Cup teams, I believe they have Sacred Coffee machines as well. So always good to know where the best coffee is in the paddock. But yes, Dan Bathy's livery gone even closer to the current livery of the Earl Bamber Motorsport team, which of course run by Earl and his brother Will. And of course, Earl, he's had a little bit of success. Well, he's had success all over the place, but he's actually had a bit of success in this very car here at Catalunya when he won the Porsche Super Cup race here back in 2014.
Well, there you go, a bit of heritage involved in this car as well. Here's Jamie Ward in a very military-esque shark mouth livery. Still has the wireframe on it as well. I'm not sure whether that's intentional, but I know some people do that, and it looks really good in most cases. And just shows you the curvature of the car even further. Let's have a look.
Krusty the Clown on the back. Jamie Ward's got Krusty the Clown on the back. If you have a look, he's got the Quickie Mart, and look at that. That's Krusty Burger.
Oh no, I'm sorry, mate. I'm gonna have to correct you. It's the Donut Boy. Lard Lad. No, it's Krusty at the top. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it's Lard Lad Donuts as well. Absolutely love it. Sorry, mate. Yeah, I thought it was in pieces of it, but yeah, Krusty the Clown on there. It's also got the old American Air Force, US Air Force emblem on the top. So a nice mixed match livery there for Jamie Ward. Also, I must say, one of the new liveries that I've seen, where's he gone now? Johnny Elia has a new livery this season. We were used to him being in a bright yellow car last time round, but the 688 car now with this very fancy black and white livery, and it looks absolutely awesome. And it just shows how much of a decent livery works here. And Porsche Sport, of course, how can we forget Porsche Sport? Fantastic supporters of Simracersworld and Simracersworld TV. Their livery's back out on track again tonight. Mark Baxter-Jones. Now, in practice, I must say, this is my favourite livery of the season so far. I really do love this livery. Just the colour combination. And again, it comes back to the fact that it's a bit of a realistic livery, as we'd call it. You could expect to see that on the real car, because it's not too complex, is it?
That's because it's an old throwback livery. So the Valiant make boilers and heating systems. So if you need a new boilant, give Valiant a call. But back in the late 70s and early 80s, you found the Valiant livery on the old 911 RSRs.
Oh, it was, yes.
And yeah,
I couldn't picture it first. Sorry, my bad.
so my goddaughter, she'll be turning 2 actually next month. And she, I'm the bad influence uncle, as you can imagine, and I buy her little toy racing cars. And the first one I bought her was a Valiant 911. So it's quite a kind of classic livery as well. So for next time I will do some spotting up and come up with some fun facts for you, Chaz.
Thank you very much, mate. So we have the grid then for the first round of the championship. Reigning champion Ryan Parkins is on pole position, alongside Gavin Halls. Matt Dorrington third with Dan Bathy in fourth. That's a great second row. Then it's Gary Tall. He's quite high up the order as well, so he's probably used to that with that name. James Cummings is sixth. Paul Rieger seventh. It's all the sevens on row 4 with Carl Sharkey eighth. Mark Baxter-Jones is ninth with Oliver Carbadine 10th. Then we have Johnny Elia, Luke Holroyd, Mark Bowe, Mark Johnson, Byron Crawford, not Brian Crawford. Stuart Clark is 16th with Chris Bowie and Paul Stout. Then it's Agnerik Sashdev and Carl Hazelton rounding out your top 20. We then have Angus Archer in 21st ahead of Ryan Penny in the number 99. Andrew Shepherd in 23rd just ahead of Stephen Kershaw. And just behind those guys is Andrew Marston in the Pink Pig, Gilles Gardner, Julien Noizet, Colin Wynne, Andrew Soper and Jamie Ward rounding up the back of the field. So we have the racing session is set up as a heat session. So it should mean that we don't need to go to a break between races. I'm also trialling this for a series that I'm running as well, so it'll be interesting to see how well this works this evening. But we've seen in the Simracersworld Formula 3 series just how exciting heat racing can be, where some of the drivers in there get knocked out as well. But I think what we're going to have here is just 2 straightforward races, but in a heat format. It means that no one has to leave the session or go into a separate one. But here we go then, the season finally ready to get underway. The revs rise, and the Porsche Club GB Sim Racing Championship Season 2 is away. And look at Gavin Hall. See you later, alligator. He's gone off the line. Paul Rieger has dropped down a bit. So has Gary Tall. Let's have a look at Gavin Hall. He's in Portugal. He's not far ahead at the minute. We've got Dan Bathy up into second place. Let's have a little bit of a shimmy back, see what happens. Any shenanigans here, guys? Oh, that was a bit close there with Paul Stout, who's around. Sorry, it wasn't Paul. It was Paul Stout. Yeah, sorry. Paul's gone around the field, avoids him. We've got Mark Johnson going off the circuit. But Gavin Halls, though, Peter, that was a hell of a start from him. And he's trying to make the jump away from Dan Bathy.
Who gave Gavin Hall's 4-wheel drive? That was absolutely unbelievable. Of course, this 911 GT3 Cup car does have a launch control system, but it does have, I believe, a bit of a nudge there. Oh, big one. Big one there. Number 76, I think that's one of our newcomers. Mark Bowe is off. Number 6, Andrew Shepherd. Yeah, there's going to be a few drive-through penalties coming out. We've got the number 80 car off there as well. That's Oliver Carwood-Dean. Oh, it's absolute chaos. Oh, my goodness me. This is a real... Oh, we've got the Gulf car off. Stephen Kershaw. Oh, well.
Heck.
But look at Dan Bathy. Look at this. Great stuff from the photographer, Dan Bathy. I think he's close enough to be in the draft there, Chaz.
Yeah, 0.6 of a second behind, so certainly close indeed. He's just got to keep that chase up. Just behind as well, James Cummings is now trying to hold off Carl Sharkey and Matt Dorrington. That's definitely easier said than done. Let's just have a quick look back at what happened to... because Mark Bowe went off. Mark Bowe had a little moment on his own. Andrew Shepherd just... Well, it was like he was trying to round him up like a shepherd there. He was honestly massive contact. Just ahead though. Oh, there's contact with the Gulf car. And then secondary contact again. Everyone just filters through bit by bit. It was quite nice and clean, the racing after that though, because they all tried to avoid one another. Angus Archer's had a moment as well. It certainly is the first day back at school here, Peter, but it's all exciting all the same, isn't it?
Yeah, that first day back at school when there's the guy who was mean to you on the last day of school before the end of the previous term, and you come up and punch him in the nose. And speaking of which, Matt Dorrington puts James Cummings straight in the wall there. So, God, man, that's not what you're used to seeing from Matt Dorrington there. I'm sure no malice in it. Of course, that's a very tight braking zone there into the stadium section. This is the chicane that got put in after the tragic accident in Moto2 a few years ago. And of course, meets a very hard wall there, but yeah. We've got someone else on the. Oh dear, we've got somebody broadside on the front straight. That's never good. And Gary Toll's in pit lane as well. But I can't keep up with this, Chaz. I just can't do it.
No, it's all kicking off quite a lot here, to be honest. But yeah, we did expect when you get into a league and you get new drivers in that you aren't sure how they're going to race or how the guys around them are going to race as well. So there's this sort of filtering process of where people all get used to it. This is Colin Wynne. He's just been overtaken by Oliver Carwadine, who's making his way back up the order. Andrew Soper is he's got Chris Bowie right behind him. They were side by side. Luke Holroyd's had a moment and run wide at the hairpin. He's back on the circuit though, nice and clean. But let's go back to this. They're not teammates, believe it or not. Chris Bowie on the back of Andrew Soper. We've got Jamie Ward going off. Jamie Ward has had an issue. What's happened to Jamie? He's side by side with Paul Stout. He's just going to come over. Oh no. Paul's a bit later on the brakes, hits Jamie into the wall. Bit scrappy at the minute, but they're recovering and getting used to it. Carl Sharkey, by the way, Matt Dorrington now side by side here, Peter. Dorrington on the inside. This is shaping up to be a very good scrap, this one.
Yeah, look, watch this caravan car. He'll get his tow hook out now and he'll just hook into the back of Matt Dorrington. He's a very clever driver, Carl. He's just going to... Matt Dorrington's got so much pace underneath that car, and Carl's super clever. He'll just be following his lines and then getting a little bit of a draft down the straight. Of course, with this national layout here at Barcelona, there's not as much opportunity to get that draft, so it's not going to be as much, but following someone of Matt Dorrington's skill is really, really good. Speaking of which, he runs a little bit wide there. Carl a lot tidier, and he'll be able to get on the gas a bit earlier, so this is an intriguing start to the season. And Paul Stout's off again in the man-time machine. Oh dear, he's doing some nice donuts though, which is very nice. But yeah, Gavin Hall's still out front. Dan Bathy in second, and Ryan Parkins, the King Hippo, just keeping his powder dry in third. But we've seen him do this before, haven't we, Chaz? Where he just lets himself bed into a race. He doesn't try to win it in the first lap. He'll be there at the end of the race. Make no mistake.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's just there or thereabouts. He's one of these sort of wily drivers that can just score points after points after points, even if he isn't the most exciting or winning all the races. He proves it. He's very much the Colin Turkington of the championship. We've had an issue for Gilles Gardner. Into the side of Angus Archer. He loses it on the brakes, rolls back. You need to hold the brakes there, mate. That's unfortunate for Gilles Gardner. He's also gone off the track again not long after. Oh no, sorry, it's just as he recovers, it's just triggered it again. Oh no, he has gone off track again. He's got a very damaged car. He needs to get that thing off the circuit and out of the way before he causes any issues for anyone coming through, because there's the race leaders. I'm going to stay with this. He needs to just get it back to the pits in terms of just hold escape, mate. You don't want to be driving that thing round here because it's a very tricky part of the circuit. Hopefully he's still trying to stay out of the way while getting the car around manually. Hopefully he doesn't hold up these guys. This is... just trying to think. It was Stuart Clark and Luke Holroyd going through, wasn't it? He's on the apex
James
now.
Cummings right on the apex. That was always going to happen, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame to see, but these some of the newer drivers. I know that a lot of these drivers, from judging from their iRacing numbers and their IDs, they're all very new to the sim, and some of them haven't even done sim racing before. So we have to give them a bit of slack in the fact that they will be newcomers to this, and maybe things will change with experience, as they all do. I can easily sit here and slate drivers for what they're doing, but when you're new to it, as we all have been, we don't always know the best calls to make. Gary Tall is right on the back of Paul Rieger here, and if he lives by his name, he'll probably see over the top of Paul Rieger. But Colin Wynne, I'm really sorry, but that's going to be made all season. And look at that down the inside, Paul Rieger. Opportunistic stuff there. It looked like Colin Wynne was having a bit of a moment into the first corner. On board with Gary Tall now. And it is quite a short, quick-fire circuit around here, Peter. So you have to really have your wits about you and make sure that you don't make any mistakes in terms of lining up yourself for the next corner, because you have to sort of compromise your line maybe through one corner to get a good run, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a couple of challenging parts. This circuit is very technical. It's very popular for the Formula One teams to come and test here on the full layout. But the characteristics are the same. Really test the driver and car. One thing is the grip level is incredibly low. Often you get quite high track temperature as well, which doesn't help the grip level at all either. Makes it very slick and very skiddy, and that's a lot of the drivers have really struggled with that during practice. And it's one of these courses where you just don't want to overdrive, because, as you rightly say, but once you're out of one corner, you're already straight into the next, and if you're overdriving, you're just going to kind of get yourself in a bit of a tangle. So it's it's one of these courses that really rewards patience, shall we say? And I feel like that's one of my words in the bingo card. So if anybody watching, you're thinking about a bingo card, there's my first one. Patience is the key. I'm sure you haven't mentioned spec maps yet, though, Chaz.
No, I've not actually, and I probably should, especially when we're looking at the car of Matt Dorrington, which is the Fury Simsport livery. Gorgeous metallic green all over this car. It looks absolutely brilliant. It's very striking livery, while also, because of it being black and grey as well, it's not too in your face, which is nice. Close together we have Chris Bowie on the back of Ryan Penny. He's all over him at the moment. Ryan making his very welcome return to the series for Season 2. He's got Tamiya branding all over the back of that car, NGK on the bonnet as well. And of course the series set of decals, which you will also see in the top right of your screen. We do have all the logos associated with the series just scrolling through there. But Chris Bowie looks like he's lost a bit of time there. Oh, Stuart Clark's gone off at turn 1. We know it's a very tough corner. Not easy to get that one right. Gary Toll is still all over the back, by the way, of Andrew Soper. He was actually chasing down Paul Rieger, so I think something's not quite gone right there for him on that previous lap. He's got the novice sticker on the back, which is nice to see. Looks like he's got it stopped nicely into turn 1. Runs a little bit deep, but he gets ahead of Andrew Soper. Paul Stout is all over the back of Andrew Marston. Paul, of course, off earlier on in the race, a little bit later on the brakes down the inside. Two very striking and very popular liveries with any Porsche fans. And now Chris Bowie and Ryan Penny. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, two of the most successful also.
True.
The pink pig, of course, in 2018, where Lawrence Vantor, Kevin Estra and Michael Christensen won the Le Mans 24 Hours in the GTE Pro class, and those three guys will be hoping to repeat that success this weekend at Le Mans 24 Hours. But this time they're running a tribute livery to the 50th anniversary of Porsche's first ever outright win at Le Mans, the red and white machine that Richard Atwood and Hans Hermann took to victory back in 1970. Couldn't even believe that. Now what's happened here? Oh dear.
Oh, that's Colin Wynne just getting into the back of the 22 of Gilles Gardner. Amrik Sashdev also had an issue of his own. Oh, that's a biggie. Is he going to keep that out the wall? Nice job.
Well
nice
done.
Job. Oh. Oh, Amrik. He had to prove me wrong, didn't he? Side by side here, then Paul Stout and Colin Wynne. Just after that little moment, a moment ago. Down the inside. It's like deja vu, this, for Paul Stout, although he gets on the brakes nice and early. Mark Bowe, who was quick last season, he wants in on this fight as well. That's a nice spec map on Colin Wynne's car, actually, because the chrome blue goes underneath the yellow as well, so it overlaps around it. It's quite nice. It's very close for the front of the field, because look at this. They're coming through lap traffic now, and it's getting very sketchy for them as they overtake some of these lapped cars. I think that was Stephen Kershaw. Yes, he's got Andrew Shepard just ahead of him, and then Julien Noizet. But this battle for the top three, though, here, Peter, this is going to get ultra spicy.
Yeah, this is something I forgot to mention at the beginning, but obviously with it being such a short track, we're 11 minutes in, and the traffic is going to be an issue. You see Ryan Parkin's taking a look there. Dan Baddy also takes a look. They sort of concertina up like an accordion into that very, very tight hairpin. We have two really tight hairpins here, which are good opportunities to pass. You've got to pull off a bit of a block pass there as well. Oh, a bit of a wiggle there from Dan Baddy, just trying to get the power down, just get a bit eager. But this is an amazing drive from Dan Baddy. We didn't see this sort of stuff in season 1, so he's clearly been getting lots of practice and doing a great job here, and he's just about keeping the King Hippo at bay. But here he goes. He's making his first strike of the season is Ryan Parkins. They drag race down the front straight, and looks like Dan Bathy's just got a slightly better exit. Will Ryan be able to get that just about on the brakes? But I think, what do you reckon, Chaz? Obviously, Gavin is the only guy out of these three, to my understanding, who has real-world racing experience. And to me, that always makes a difference when getting through traffic.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when you know how to be cautious about it in real life and, hold back a little bit from maybe just sending it up the inside of a back marker, or when is the right time to just hop into a gap, I think that does make a huge difference, especially when it comes to the sim as well, because, I mean, a lot of sim racers haven't driven race cars in real life, not in anger anyway on a circuit. People have experience driving them, but not in a full race scenario. And I think having that alone, you can separate the real stuff from the sim very quickly as a real racing driver, I'm sure. But as you see, nice stuff there from, was that Marston getting out of the way? It was. He blocks Ryan Parkins a little bit there on the apex, I'm afraid. But he was trying to get out of the way at least, though. That's the main thing. The thought was there, but unfortunately not the execution. And now, like you say, though, Peter, that is key, because Gavin Halls, well, look at the gap. He's starting to really get away. We need to look at Stuart Clark, because he's got Luke Holroyd absolutely hounding him. And again, two more very, very famous liveries on these two cars. Not quite with Stuart on the rear wing, but still, it's a good-looking battle, is this? And this is 8th and 9th. And Stuart Clark, he was another one of those drivers, wasn't he? He was just always inside the top 10 last season, but didn't quite make the breakthrough he wanted. But it's a good start to the season for him so far. Absolutely,
a solid run. He's running the very famous Sunoco colours, which Roger Penske made very famous in the early 70s with Mark Donoghue, with the incredible 91710, and then the absolutely unbeatable 91730, which still to this day holds the outright speed record at Talladega Motor Speedway, because nobody's had the guts to go and beat it, because it was so scary at the time.
Yeah, I can imagine that it scared the life out of anyone trying to do that, because, well, rather them than me. This is Gary Tull, still on the back of Paul Rieger. He's reclosed on the back of him. Julien Noiset's just had a bit of an issue in the 88. He's just going to light it up on the exit. Oh, he's just a bit eager on the throttle there in the 88 and spins it the opposite way round. But yeah, this battle, Gary Tull on the back of Paul Rieger, who of course took a win near the end of last season, and a very, very good win at that. The performance that he put in at Spa was fantastic. I mean, we were very impressed and very pleased for him. But he's got a good battle on his hands now after a bit of a scrappy first few laps with a couple of incidents going on. He's sort of just been playing catch-up since, although the lead gap, by the way, there it is. Ryan Parkins has come out of nowhere here, Peter.
I think this may be traffic again. Traffic giveth and traffic taketh away, and Ryan Parkins just goes to a little bit late in the brakes. Oh, little pinch. He just checked up there. Just got a little bit tangled at the back there with Gavin Halls. No contact, but there's maybe a bit of contact. Way! See the weave of the carbon fibre there. That was close. Now, I think this was, we saw it with Ryan Parkins and Dan Bathy. They just caught Andrew Marston at the wrong time, and as you said, nothing really Andrew could have done, and it's just a bit of poor fortune. And clearly the same things happened to Gavin Halls, and here we've got a race on now. These guys, Gavin Halls and Ryan Parkins, they know each other inside out. They're teammates in the Porsche Sport Carrera Cup. They practice together, they do their setups together, so they know everything about one another. And here, I think this could be a bit of a prelude for the rest of the season. Is this going round the outside? King Hippo round the outside? No way! No way! And Gavin's going, I don't believe it. It is! Ryan Parkins, the King Hippo, puts it around the outside, and Gavin's going, no, I don't think so. Here we go, side by side again. Fantastic stuff, but they're still going. Now Ryan's got the key inside line into the hairpin. Do you think Gavin's going to try it again?
Oh, you never know. I think Gavin broke a little bit early into T1, just trying to avoid any confrontation maybe. But look, he tries to light it up. Gets the rears spun up good and proper, over the curb and everything. But wow, Ryan Parkins had the commitment to go around the outside. He did go a bit deep into turn one, so I think Gavin, braking early to sort of say, no, after you, he saw Ryan go a bit deep and he thought, oh, you know what then, stuff it, let's do this. And then he had a bit of a dance with him. And it was great racing, absolutely brilliant. But now, of course, Dan Bathy and Matt Dorrington on the back of these. We'll have to look at Dan Bathy because he's a little bit closer. But this is the chase now. Thank you, iRacing, for your graphics at Barcelona. Down the straight they go. Is he going to look? Well, of course he's going to look. Is he going to go for it on the brakes down the inside? It's a lot later. Gavin goes to the apex. Oh, that's close. That's very close, gents. That is very, very close. Dan Bathy doesn't quite get it done. Not for lack of trying, though. And behind him, Matt Dorrington is looking good. Oh, we've had an issue for Mark Johnson, who was in the top 10. He's around. And, into him goes Ward. And that was a shame, that, because Ward was doing really, really well. Oh, and Riga.
Riga's off too.
Riga's got involved all on his own there. That was a bit of an odd situation to arrive at. That's a real shame, that one. It was Jamie Ward that went around there. I thought I got the wrong name, so I was right for once. Doesn't happen often. We're on lap 15 out of 20 already, by the way, Peter. This has flown by.
Yeah, I know it has, yeah. And Ryan Parkins, wow. I mean, he'll be looking in his mirror going, go on, Dan, give him a punch in the nose. Go on, do it. Because all that bickering is just allowing Ryan to escape. And he's Dan's just not quite hanging on to Gavin here, but big late lunge on the brakes, runs wide, locks up, and here comes Matthew Dorrington then. Matthew Dorrington just tucks it inside, but Dan just about holds it off. But that's going to give Gavin Halls just that little bit of breathing space. But wow, amazing stuff here at Barcelona. This is, I tell you what, I'll be honest, Chaz, I wasn't sure about this choice of track, but the racing is unbelievable.
Oh yeah, definitely, it certainly has worked. We've got a couple of crashes further down the order, by the way. Gilles Gardner, Jamie Ward, Mark Johnson, they're all having issues a bit further down. There is Mark trying to recover, but Dan Bathy has now very much got the attention to Matt Dorrington behind. We saw Matt make contact earlier with James Cummings into this section of the circuit. We're hoping not to see the same again. Through the right-hander, this is where the contact was before, into the chicane. Dorrington looks to the inside just to say, I'm still here, mate, I'm not going anywhere. He lines himself up nicely for a run on the exit, but it doesn't quite work that time, though. Really doesn't. And look at that, front. Yeah. I was going to say the traffic has really not worked. Jamie, he came out. Oh, no, Gavin! Gavin's lost it, and Jamie is around as well. What's going to happen there with Jamie Ward? Jamie, there's been more contact. Oh, that's... yeah, it's Dorrington. Oh, Jamie.
No.
Earlier on, Jamie moved across on somebody. Look, this isn't the only time. We'll have another look here. What's happened here? Oh, to be fair, that's not on Jamie, that one. I'll take that back. Apologies, Jamie. But, yeah, this time round, I'm afraid... Oh, that's after the second bit of contact. And that's after... Okay, apologies, everyone. I will find it. Here you go. So, watch Jamie in the green car. He just comes over. And there's no need for him to...
I don't think he saw Gavin, to be honest. I think he was trying his best, but he didn't see him in the mirror and moved. Oh, my giddy aunt. Oh, dear.
Matt Dorrington just got really unlucky because Jamie bounced off the wall back into his path. And then that was it, and Dorrington is now out of the race. Dan Bathy, by the way, when my... I think my sim has just crashed. Apologies. Oh, no.
Radio Simracersworld?
Looks very much like it.
Oh dear!
Oh no! I'm so sorry.
That crash was so massive; it's crashed your fancy new computer.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, the sim has just had a fit. I'm afraid. I'm sorry, everybody. No. We'll try and get this sorted. Just bear with me 2 seconds. We'll get a bit of music on in the background at least. But yeah, the sim has apparently been suspended on my my PC. Apparently, it's just crashed completely. Yep, there it goes. Right. Sorry about this, everybody. Just bear with me 2 seconds. And we'll get this sorted. Just need to get back in there. But, well, what a fantastic race we had until that point, though.
Yeah, I can just having a look at the timing screens just for the last little part of the race. The timing screen's still working here. So just to recap after that incident, Ryan Parkins leads by 10. Well, yeah, just a little bit over 3 seconds from Dan Bathy. And now look at this. Carl Sharkey's got himself back up into third position, into the podium places. Now, Gavin Halls has been able to get going again. He is in fourth, and Mark Baxter Jones in fifth as well. James Cummings sixth, Stuart Clark seventh, Luke Holroyd in eighth. So it's certainly shaken the order up, but really, actually, ironically, poor old Matt Dorrington, he's not really got the got the good end of that deal at all, but you'll have a good grid position for race 2.
Yeah, that's it's going to be a feisty one. I really am sorry, everybody. I'm not sure what caused that. I think because it was flicking between so many replays and so on, it just decided that it had enough. So we are trying to get back. Well, I say we. I'm trying to get logged back in now. It is reloading the sim, so please do bear with me. Anyone else will know that I've had an absolute nightmare with internet as well. So that just rounds the whole thing out. But like you said, though, Peter, the track choice, we were a bit like, oh, okay, it's an interesting one, but wow, the actual racing has been top-notch stuff. And, you know, these guys aren't scared of getting their elbows out either. I know that, like, with no disrespect to the real-world Porsche Carrera Cups that go on, you don't really see much contact in this form of racing. You know, everybody is very clean and tidy, but in a good way. These guys aren't most of the time, because we still have a lot of argy-bargy, and it makes it all the more exciting for us, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is always good entertainment, and as we saw some brilliant wheel-to-wheel stuff there between Ryan Parkins, Dan Bathy. I mean, what can we say about Dan Bathy? Done an amazing job fighting there at the front, on pace, on merit, with Ryan Parkins, Gavin Halls, and Matt Dorrington there. And I think it's a bit of a shame there. We were just robbed of a brilliant conclusion to that battle. But I think for the reverse grid is going to be super exciting as well, as we see our drivers now out for just a little bit of a warm-up while we have a cool down before race 2.
I am so sorry, everybody. I've not had that happen before, so there's always a time for firsts. But yeah, that was an incredible race. Really was, and more of that, please. I think is the phrase to go for. I'm really not sure as well. Let me just explain that I don't have a clue why my microphone suddenly spiked in there as well. I think that may have been part of the issue. There was a sudden change in all of the volumes, and even at my end as well. I'm not sure whether it came through on the stream, but it just suddenly spiked in volume, and so did my headset. So I'm not sure what was behind that, but I think maybe there was a bit of a conflict there. Just looking at Angus Archer at the moment, who is out in warm-up. And to be honest, these guys will be grateful for this sort of cooling. I know it's a warm up, but they'll want to cool down, won't they, after that?
They definitely will. Yeah, they absolutely will. It's that was really frantic. I mean, we saw that last time in the first race of season 1 at Donington Park, and we just saw everyone, like you mentioned it during the race there, Chaz. Everyone, especially the newcomers and guys that have been racing it within this league for a while, they do just take a little bit of time to bed in and get used to one another, and we'll see that as the season progresses. But I think the battle at the front, you know, Ryan Parkins was completely dominant, really, all season last time out, and got the championship sealed up early. But I don't think we're going to see that this season, just from what we've seen in that opening race. What do you think?
It could be anyone's. It really could be anyone's this season, mate. There's so many people that could take this, I reckon. I think we're going to see a hell of a scrap between all these drivers, and the quality of the grid has certainly improved as well. I mean, there's a lot of names that will be fighting for top 10s, and we saw it last season, didn't we, that the improvement over the course of the season, there was a huge spike at like the halfway point where suddenly these drivers really got it dialed in, and they were just amazing to watch because they suddenly had this pace out of nowhere, didn't they?
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny how you can just sometimes, if you just get that little tip, or you just that maybe get the opportunity to practice a little bit more, it's amazing when something clicks. It's amazing how your lap times can drop. I mean, you know, it's bizarre. Even me, I've seen it with the new Corvette C8R, which we've got on iRacing, and I'm sure it's completely in my head, but I've been able to do lap times that I couldn't have dreamt of before. It's not any I doubt it's any faster than any of the other cars in its class, but it's just because I think it's because I was so happy to have a Corvette. So it could be really silly things like that. Of course, the motorsport, both on 2 and 4 wheels, is all in the head, and sim racing is no different. And yeah, you're right. We saw a number of drivers just really get really improve, and the learning curve was incredibly steep. But of course the ascent of certain driver skill was very impressive to watch over the season.
Yeah, and I'm hoping for more of the same this time round. I think we'll definitely see that, I think. So we just need to wait and see what some of them do, because it can often be unpredictable, can't it? The increase in pace. I mean, we saw some drivers last season, and we were thinking, oh, it's a bit of a shame. They're having a tough time, and it doesn't look like we're getting much improvement from them, and people are struggling to get used to the car, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they'd bang in a top 10 result or like a top 15 when they'd been usually outside of like the top 20 or having accidents. And it's a joy to see, because I mean, we as sim racers as well, I mean, you and I have both done sim racing before, we've both raced in leagues and known how difficult and how competitive it can be, but just having that improvement and feeling that sense of relief, it's just, nothing can beat it, can it? And I hate to use the cliche these days, but the cars aren't real, but the racing is. And it's true. I say it a lot, and a lot of people say it a lot, because it's true. And I think that a lot of these drivers will be getting a lot of enjoyment out of this season, for sure.
Oh, absolutely. That's what it's all about. And I often say now that obviously in motorsport, it's just getting so expensive at all levels. And if it gets expensive at the top, it filters all the way down. When you hear about some of the sums of money that some guys who race live on free-to-air television in the British Touring Car Championship at the very top of their sport, and they're having to find sums of money that would just make your eyes water for them to go racing, and that filters down to club motorsport. So I think one thing that sim racing, it's not going to bring, it is already bringing a really extra element to club motorsport. And club motorsport is meant to be fun, and this is a great example of it. Of course, the Porsche Club of Great Britain have an excellent club of real-world racers with their spec Boxsters and 911s and Caymans, but again, not a cheap thing to do. So here in the sim racing equivalent, we've got a packed grid of really good drivers and people who can have a lot of fun. Now, after our little timing screen technical glitch, shall we say, it's a big crash when it crashes the computer. But I've got the results here, Chaz. If you want me to read them out for our viewers.
Yeah. Let's go through it. And just to clarify, by the way, everyone, I would bring a graphic up on the screen for it, but because wait there. Hey, there you go.
Hey,
it actually works. There we go. So I didn't. I was just saying, because it didn't tick over to being, in inverted commas, finished while I was in the sim. But thank you, SDK Gaming, for the software that actually manages to get results when I'm not even in here. Ryan Parkins then took the win by 10 seconds in the end over Dan Bathy, who had to, of course, avoid that incident. Carl Sharkey, podium for him to start out the season. Gavin Halls, the original pole sitter, finishing in 4th place. He was also involved in, trying to avoid that incident. Mark Baxter-Jones, that's a great result for him to start the season as well. 5th place. We didn't see much of Mark, or we haven't actually looked at him tonight, but it's, again, one of those under-the-radar performances that you want to have. James Cummings is in 6th place, ahead of Stuart Clark. Luke Holroyd finished in 8th. Gary Tall finished in 9th position. And Chris Bowitt rounded out the top 10. Oliver Carwadine, 11th place for him in the number 80 car. Paul Rieger, he'll want more than a 12th place to take away from tonight, so watch him in this second race. Amrik Sashdev, 13th. That's not so bad, actually. He had a few moments in that race, but did okay. Mark Bowe, he was the last car on the lead lap, in 14th position. Matt Dorrington, 1 lap down after that incident. Andrew Soper, 1 lap down as well, with Mark Johnson and Paul Stout behind them. Then we have Angus Archer, Colin Wynn, Ryan Penny, Andrew Shepherd, Andrew Marston, Julien Noizet, Byron Crawford, I keep saying Brian Crawford, sorry mate, and then Stephen Kershaw. They were all 1 lap down, and then Jamie Ward and Gilles Gardner were 3 laps down, but everybody finished in that race. Everyone kept going, and everybody gave their all until the very end. But yeah, Dan Bathy though, I mean, we were saying, weren't we, earlier, that it's definitely an improvement on last season already for Dan, and hopefully he keeps that up, because he could very well be a championship contender.
Oh yeah, he's right at the top of my list for driver of the day so far. Dan's, we did see him just getting closer and closer to the front at the end of last year, but I wonder, he obviously spent a lot of time trackside taking photographs of these very cars in the Porsche Carrera Cup. I just wonder how much being surrounded by some of the very best drivers not just in the UK, in the world in these cars. I just wonder how much Dan's picked up with that. But making big leaps and bounds, because to go up there and fight Oh dear,
Oh.
just a little bit of a lock up there from Stephen Kershaw. But yeah, to go up there and fight with Gavin Halls and Ryan Parkins and Matthew Dorrington, very impressive indeed. Now, interestingly, Gavin Hall still, even after that pretty big incident, managed to get the car over the line in fourth. Now, that is going to be critical, I think, because that could have been a complete drop down the order, but he managed to get the car over the line and get those points. So that is, to be honest, that is massive damage limitation there from Gavin Halls, and that could be critical when we get to the end part of the season, because that could have been a whole lot worse.
It definitely could have, and it was a massive accident, of course, a bit exaggerated by the iRacing physics there, but yeah, it was a real shame. But it was just a bit of a move over from Jamie. Maybe he wasn't expecting the car behind to close in as much, but yeah, I think to be honest, it could have been avoided, but it's easy to miss. You know, we're all guilty of it.
I remember doing it in a televised Camel GT race on iRacing. I thought I was in a GTO car. The Audi Quattro is the slower class, and the GTP leaders were coming through on the last lap, and I thought I'd moved out of the way. I didn't move out of the way. I moved straight into the path. So I don't know if that's any comfort.
Well,
it won't be for Gavin Halls, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's
now while we're in the warm up, Chaz, I must tell you, we do have a new nickname for Gavin Halls. He was wondering if we could give him a nickname. Now we in the Porsche Sport Carrera Cup last week, they were at Interlagos and they ran into nighttime conditions, and of course Interlagos doesn't have a lighting system, so it was very, very dark. It made commentating quite difficult, but Gavin just absolutely came alive when the darkness came down. So we now call him the Vampire, because he comes alive at night. So so Gavin the Vampire Halls is so we've got Carl Kimmy Caravan Sharky, we've got Gavin Vampire Halls, and of course King Hippo Ryan Parkins, amongst others. And we have Bernie watching. We have Bernie and Mrs. Bernie watching. Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Bernie, who are watching with their dog Ernie, who apparently has been very patiently waiting for the racing to come on tonight.
And yeah, thank you very much, by the way, to Mark Phillips and Carl Sharkey and his team involved in getting all of this going, because they do a great job at organising it all behind the scenes for me and Peter to just rock up and talk at it. So thank you very much, guys. Austin's saying Chaz needs a new PC. To be honest, mate, I really shouldn't. I've got a Ryzen 7 3800X in this, and I've just bought 64 gig of RAM, so I really shouldn't. I know. Look at the flex. Look at the flex.
Wow.
Anyone that follows me on social media will see the wonderful Trident Z Royal RAM that I've purchased recently, and I'm madly in love with it. And
did that sound sincere, Chaz? Did that sound like I was genuinely excited about that?
It did. I'm very impressed.
Good, good, excellent.
Mark Baxter Jones, though, at the moment, he's in a gorgeous livery, and again, he was just under the radar in that performance, wasn't he, Peter? And that's the sort of thing that you need in this. Sometimes no news is good news, isn't it?
Yeah, could you say it was a valiant performance? I think you could. Hey, there we go. And Mark, his Black Labrador, Tonks, the Black Labrador, will be watching him and be very proud of him there. And also, he's not only has he got a brilliant central heating sponsor there, he also has a brilliant tyre sponsor, Pirelli, who of course support for many years have supported all kinds of motorsport activity in the Porsche Club of Great Britain. And actually, Pirelli were the first, Pirelli were the first ever company that Porsche went to design a specific tyre for their vehicles. Of course, the 911, a very unique layout, having its engine right in the back of the car, and that puts a unique demand on the tyre. So Pirelli ever since have produced specific tyres for Porsche vehicles. So if you're a Porsche owner, and if you're watching this, there's a good chance you are, get down to your local Pirelli Performance Centre and they'll fit you up with just the right kind of tyre. Even if it's an electric Taycan, they'll do one for you.
Ah, good stuff. I actually saw one of those at Silverstone on the weekend, and
very cool.
I won't lie, I saw it and I was a little bit underwhelmed by the look of it, but then in person, it is such a cool car. Like the exaggeration on all of the styling, and it's just gorgeous. It really is gorgeous, and it's so sleek as well. I mean, as Porsches are, but it just really highlights how sleek it can be. Obviously, with the fact it's electric, it doesn't have to worry about some of the conventional things that certain cars would have to, with internal combustion engines, and the fact that they make the most of that as well really shows how good it is. My PC, by the way, Porsche Sport, is water cooled in terms of the CPU at the moment. I have an AIO system, but
Oh, sorry.
Oh, warm-up's finished. Well, we've had a great first race. I'm sure we're going to have a great second one as well.
I'll tell you what, I can promise the viewers that the racing is the exact antithesis of Chaz talking about his new PC.
Thank you very much, mate. So, Carl Hazelton takes pole then. Johnny Elia second. I'm going to fly through this, by the way. Gilles Gardner, Jamie Ward row 2. Then it's Stephen Kershaw, Byron Crawford, Julian Noisy, Andrew Marston, Andrew Shepherd, Ryan Penny, Colin Wynn, Angus Archer, Paul Stout, Mark Johnson, Andrew Soper, Matt Dorrington, Mark Bow, Amric Sashdev, Paul Rieger, Oliver Carwadine, Chris Bowie, Gary Tull, Luke Holroyd, Stuart Clark. We've not got long enough because they're all going to get underway. Carl Hazelton has not taken to the front of the grid, so Johnny Elia will lead them away in round 2 of the championship. Is underway, and it doesn't look like Gilles Gardner gets off the line. There's a bit of argy-bargy. Oh no, there's a car around in the middle. It's Julien Noisy, and that's the 44. Amric Sashdev is in there as well. Mark Bowes knocked down the order.
Matt Dorrington got a bit of contact as well, unfortunately.
Oh, Ward is around at turn 1 as well. Oh, we've got some culprits that are making themselves a bit apparent here already. Oh, there's a car around. That's Paul Rieger. Paul Rieger is off. Luke Holroyd's off in the gravel.
Gavin Hall's off.
Oh, it's Gavin Halls. Yes, sorry. Luke Holroyd just sneaked through. I saw his name in the pile in the timing screen that got it wrong. Johnny Elia, though, again, leaders in Portugal, mate, while the rest of them are in Spain. Look at it.
He's gone. Yeah, Mr. Ford Transit himself, Johnny Elia, is careering off at the front of the field, and Johnny's oh no, we got more contact. Oh no.
That's the second time we've seen Shepherd take somebody off at that hairpin in 2 races on the first lap. There is Luke Holroyd trying to come through from just behind now. The number 76 is making friends out in the pack, it seems. And he's down the inside as Luke tries to go around him. Oh, he's lost it. He's across the middle. Runs wide. Oh, he turns left. Oh, I'm not sure what part of judgment thought that turning left was a good idea there. Maybe he was just trying to overcorrect it, but look at that in the middle there. You just saw at the bottom of your shot. Ryan Parkins right in the middle of the pack here with Dan Bathley just in front, Peter. This is about survival of the fittest now.
Yep, and look at this. Typical Ryan Parkins. This is why they call him the King Hippo. Not barely a mark on that car. Now that is no coincidence. That is, he always just takes it so easy in the start of these reverse grid races, knowing that, as we've seen, about half the field are going to wipe themselves out anyway. But look at Dan Bathy. He's been studying the King Hippo. He's been studying the Master, and he has not got a mark on his sacred coffee machine either. And he's going to tuck in on the gearbox here of Ryan Parkins and follow him through to the front of the field. So great start to the race from Ryan Parkins and our new emerging championship contender, Dan Bathy. So the King Hippo, he's got his hands full.
He has. Down the inside he goes to Stuart Clark. Dan Bathy wants this as well. He follows him through, but we know that it's not as easy as you'd like to think with getting through traffic like this. We'll go on board with Dan Bathy for a moment. You can see a few positions ahead. Mark Baxter-Jones, he's all over the back of Andrew Soper, who, to coin the phrase, is very much the cork in the bottle here. I've heard it used a lot recently, especially David Addison is a big fan of that phrase. Mark Baxter-Jones has a moment. Andrew Super just nearly kisses the back of Colin Wynn. He's the cork in the bottle, actually, by the look of it. And look at these lot. And in the background as well, the 77, that is Carl Sharkey all over the back of Stuart Clark. So it's Clarkey and Sharkey right together, but yeah, a lot of argy-bargy at the start of the race, though. Once again, as they're 3 wide into turn 1, Ryan Parkins from the outside. Oh, you've got to be a brave man to try and make that work here when you're trying to get through traffic as well. Mark Baxter-Jones looking down the inside of Andrew Soper, who says no. Get out of the way. And through, up the middle, look at that. James Cummings is like, oh, okay, go on then. Let's try this. Let's see what this line does. Now the 2x2. Noah's Ark all the way down to this left-hander. This is going to be argy-bargy as well. Let's go on a camera where we can see all of it. Let's go chopper cam. Parkins down the inside. Checks up a little bit, gets it done. Past the 72. Now look ahead of him. Mark Baxter-Jones down the inside of Colin Wynn. And now Parkins has got to go around the outside, so Baxter-Jones can try and open up that gap a bit. A little bit further back, Stuart Clark is side by side with James Cummings. Just going to go into the next right-hander now. Is Clark going to try and hold it around the outside? Let's have a look at Parkins and Wynn. There's a bit of contact. Oh, no! James Cummings has been turned across them, and Dan Bathy's in there as well. So is Sharkey, so is Stout. Oh, that was a real mess there, Peter. What can you see, mate?
A lot. Oh, dear. Oh, that is just an absolute domino effect. And that's really a shame for Dan Bathy, because he was just shadowing Ryan Parkins really well there, keeping his nose clean, and there was absolutely nothing he could have done there. That all came from behind him, and that was what a pity. There's just been it's been really I don't know what the word is, calamitous, this opening round of the championship. And this circuit is tight and twisty, and we've seen a number of times where, when one incident can actually involve the cars in front because of it's so tight and twisty. So we see that certainly in the stadium section as well. I've actually sat in that stadium section when for the MotoGP. I went there a couple of years ago for the MotoGP and did not see one overtaking move all weekend long, and they just all one line, and that's on motorcycles. So these guys, they're making a lot of room that's maybe not there right now.
Yeah, they're having to be a bit creative with their gaps, let's say, in this race so far. This is Baxter Jones in 6th. Dorrington, by the way, he's up into 3rd. He's gained 13 places. Parkins has gained 23. And I think Dorrington, well, Johnny Eve here is cleared off at the moment. He's 4.3 seconds clear. There is Byron Crawford doing a good job in 2nd place. Oh, he has a bit of a moment, though. He has to check up and watch for Dorrington. There he is. Byron says, "This is my side of the road, mate. This is where I'm going." Parkins on the back of Baxter Jones as well now. There's just battles everywhere once again, Peter. This is, I'm hoping that this is the remaining sort of standard in terms of battles for the rest of the season. Definitely. This is amazing.
No doubt it will be. Yeah, no doubt it will be. And look at Mark Baxter Jones isn't giving this up. Look at that. That brilliant block pass there from Mark Baxter Jones takes the position back from Ryan Parkins, and Ryan Parkins playing this very, very cleverly, just not taking any unnecessary risk, just biding his time, and that's how they won the championship last time in season 1, because he just avoided incidents that others had. And this season, that's going to be even more important. As we've seen, there's a number of guys who are clearly on the same pace as Ryan. He's got more guys to battle with at the front, but in these reverse grid races, his patience and just his strategy in these second races is really impressive. I mean, how on earth has he kept that car? I mean, it's a white car. It's not even dirty. He gets us. Oh, I've cursed him there. Oh my! Oh, just backs it in Francois Delacour style. You're showing off now, Ryan.
Oh, it's scary. It's just scary how consistently quick he is, and just how he manages to get through all of these battles and do it so cleanly. Gilles Gardner's had a bit of an issue further down in the 22. Maybe a bit eager on the throttle. Oh, yep, we saw that in race 1. Julien Noiset's also had the same. Looks like he's his teammate. Again, throttle just over the hill. And like I say, you're going to see a little bit of this just because it's, these drivers are a little bit inexperienced with these cars, and with it, some of them inexperienced with sim racing in general. They're still getting used to the fact that there's no sort of feeling through the backside of what the car is doing. A lot of it is all based on audio and visual cues as to how the car is behaving. Force feedback can only tell you so much through your hands. And all the same, I think this is a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, these cars, they require a lot of practice, because sometimes, as we've seen, there's been quite a lot of sudden accidents, shall we say, and you need to almost have quite a lot of those in practice to kind of almost predict what the car is going to do, because sometimes it can surprise you in a hurry. And I think that does just all that takes is just seat time, as you rightly say. But speaking of guys that have, we've seen Dan Bathy make a great run so far tonight. Unfortunately, got unlucky. As Andrew Marston's off, but Amrik Sashdev up in 6th place. He's having a brilliant run, is Amrik, and and there's Ward off into the gravel. It looked like he got a help there, Chaz, from my view.
Yeah, I think that is
Angus Archer.
Boof. Just drives into the back of him, I'm afraid. Not much could be done to
defend. Krusty Burger.
Yeah, not much could be done to protect him in court there over that one. Oliver Carwadine's a bit further down the order, but like you said, mate, Amrik Sashdev is in 7th place at the moment and doing a fine job of it too. He's got Baxter Jones just ahead of him, the next one up. And then Sharky just behind. Apologies, I've just had a very strange email. Ryan Penny, side by side with Ryan Parkins. Ryan down the inside into turn 1. And again, Ryan Penny, another driver that just shows you with the survival of staying up there. He's going to get plenty of championship points here. Oh, you had to say it.
Oh, no!
Oh, no. Amrik Sashdev straight on. What's he done? Is it just a lock-up? Oh, he's broken way too late there. And biff into the barriers, I'm afraid. He recovers now, but he's down in 12th position. Luke Holroyd there with a bit of a damaged car. Paul Rieger as well, the number 72 there, Andrew Soper. And this is a bit of a scary time for some of these guys coming back through the order, isn't it? Because, yeah, you've got to be very careful of some of these newer drivers that you don't quite know how they get on.
Yeah, absolutely. It takes a little bit of time, especially if Luke's been involved in one or two incidents, neither of which were his fault. But he's so yeah, you can imagine he'll just be playing that a little bit more carefully, and that can make you quite tentative as well. And yeah, a little bit of survival zone here at Barcelona. I think the drivers will be they'll probably be quite glad to see the back of this place. But maybe not Johnny Elia, because he's driving a brilliant race now. How's the gap looking between him and Matt Dorrington? Because Matt Dorrington's had a good run so far from his grid position. How close is he to Johnny Elia right now?
He is currently a second behind. Johnny is just ahead of this Gulf cart. There is Johnny. Sorry, it's 1.2 seconds now after he got held up a little bit there, and he's still getting held up by the traffic. Oh, he slows down, but on the apex of the corner, that's not helping man nor beast there. That was Stephen Kershaw. He still gets out of the way fair and square, though. 1.2 second difference at the moment from Matt Dorrington, as we'll go on board then as he chases down Johnny Elia. And this could be a really good scrap, but not even halfway through the race yet in this one, Peter.
Yeah, this is game on now for Matt Dorrington and Johnny Elia. This is not what you want to see. He'll have his relative time showing up on the right hand side of his screen in his sim, and it will be saying Dorrington +1, and that is just like, sorry, we're repossessing your house. It's that much, how much your heart just sinks. You're like, oh no. I bet it must have been like back in the day when you saw Schumacher +1 or Hamilton +1. It's Matt Dorrington is so fast, and when you see someone like this come up behind you, it's not what you want to see when you've been leading the race for the first half.
It's just great to ride on board with one of these again. I've not commentated on any Porsches or any of these Cup cars since the previous round of the championship, and it's just a joy to see them. They're great to listen to, they're great to look at, and long may this series go on even after this championship as well. But this is only the start of season 2, and I can tell you that it's going to get more and more exciting as it goes on. This is Chris Bowie at the moment, just behind Wynn, just ahead of Rieger. Rieger again, he's on a bit of a comeback, isn't he, really, Peter? And it's not been a night to remember for him, I'm afraid. He's got to really get his head down now and just try and maybe get into that top 10.
Yeah, Paul's got fantastic potential. He's a really hard racer, and he's brilliant. We call him Paul Anchors Rieger after that incredible move he pulled at Bolton Park into the Hizzy chicane. I mean, yeah. I just thought, oh, here comes an accident, and oh no, he's done it. He's pulled out, so he's and hence he was then christened Paul Anchors Rieger. Oh, and Wynn's off in the background. Oh no, with the blue and yellow multi-layer livery there. Oh dearie me, it's very Michelin Pilot, that particular livery. It's a lovely looking car, but sadly, well, he says 9 lives on the wing. Well, he's used one of them up there, as we see Carl Sharkey now behind Ryan Penny. Carl just doing what he does. Carl Sharkey doing. Ryan's off.
No.
Oh no.
Ryan just a bit too late on the brakes there. Clips the number 22. Oh no, it wasn't Gilles Gardner. Sorry, I think it was the 88. It was Julien Noizet. And what he'll be saying now will be noisy, let me tell you that. He won't be very happy there with Ryan Penny.
That one saved up.
Sorry, mate. This is Paul Stout. He's got Gavin Halls behind him. Again, Gavin, he's actually gained 7 places in this race so far.
Yeah,
so
Gavin.
He's coming back through the order, but not the speed he'd like.
No, definitely not. He was... and unfortunately a victim of that turn 1 melee, but when you have a car broadside the front straight, and Paul Stout just saying, I don't care who you are, I'm just going to defend my line as I should. And he says, I'm in a Manti car, don't you know? Of course, Manti racing, a 6-time winner of the Nürburgring 24 Hours and one of the big favourites to challenge for the victory there in a few weeks' time. It'll be a whole lot of fun. So it was Gavin Halls, though, finally gets the spot, and he moves up to 19th place. But again, I feel like we're history repeating itself here, Chaz. Another night of what could have been for Gavin Halls.
Yeah, definitely. And Austin Greatorx saying, Chaz, that was bad. I'm sorry, mate. I'm sorry. It's Chaz Bingo with the terrible name puns. I'd feel sorry, to be fair, for Gary Tall. He's really going to be getting it this season. I've not quite got one lined up for that sentence. But Amrik Sashdev now into the top 10. He was down to 12th, but he's now got Chris Bowie and Paul Rieger still there right behind, trying to have a go. And these lot just don't give up, do they? This is what I love about this series, Peter. No one gives an inch. They just absolutely go for it everywhere. It's fantastic to watch.
It is. Oh, no, big one. Big one. Oh, the camera just went off there. It's Chris Bowie straight in the wall there. And that just shows you, that is a graphic demonstration of how tricky these cars are under braking. They are so tough. They don't have anti-lock braking systems. So if you can imagine those who remember the days of driving cars without anti-lock braking, it's pretty horrible when you get it wrong. And it's a little bit like when you do get it wrong, it's a little bit like when you put your foot in the brake on ice and you just skid. It's horrible. And these cars without that anti-lock braking system, it means that once you get the feel of the brakes, you get a wonderful delicacy. But when you get it wrong and that those tires lock and pinch, that's what happens.
I've been asked by Mark what happened to Carl Sharkey. He's been in the pits for some reason. Not sure whether he just got some more damage.
Might be that damage from with Ryan Penny, possibly.
Yes, yeah, very true. It would have been the hit from that. It's a shame, but part of racing. If you get a black and orange flag from iRacing, you do need to go and serve it. The meatball, as it's known. Here's Luke Holroyd trying to get past the 71. Hello, that was Bowie. Just giving him a bit of a wave there out the window, I imagine. We ought to call him Starman, I suppose. Chris Bowie. Dan Bathy.
Oh, he certainly made himself famous this particular race. And I look at Dan Bathy, he's got up to 15th place, and he's now. Look at that. He's behind Carl Sharkey. So 2 quick cars here. So watch these guys for the final part of this race. But Matthew Dorrington, he's got, after all that calamity, he's got up into first place. He's moved ahead of Johnny Elia. So Matthew Dorrington showing just how much of a championship contender he is. But also, what can we say about Byron Crawford, the man from Nottingham, on the podium right now as it stands. If you put the flag out now, of course, in his first ever race meeting here with the Porsche Club of Great Britain Sim Racing Series, that's an amazing effort. But with an I rating of 2,100, that's almost not to be surprised about.
No, definitely not. This is Ryan Penny still inside the top 10. Car 99, P9. We're on lap 15 of the race. Matt Dorrington, by the way. Oh, he's just been turned. He's just been turned around by Wynn. Colin Wynn gets involved, and Elia, I was just about to say, Elia's the only car that's where he started, and Elia goes back into the race lead. So Dorrington's down the inside. Oh, he's actually lost it on his own. I apologise, Colin Wynn. I apologise massively. He's just gone too deep. He's just chucked it in too hard on the brakes. Then there's a little bit of contact as well. Dorrington will be absolutely kicking himself for that one. But Johnny Elia, he's still got 5 laps to hold on to this, but he's back in the race lead. Colin Wynn there just trying to get back on the circuit. Dorrington's going to have PTSD when he comes up to lap him again. That's not a pleasant scenario to be in. Byron Crawford, by the way, you know what you were saying about under-the-radar performances, Peter? Byron is very much doing that at the moment in this number 12 car. This is a nice drive.
Yeah, he's doing a great job. But
just into shop.
Oh no. King Hippo +0. Oh dear. That's not what you want to see on your pit board. Yeah, that is. I don't know how many hours I've commentated on Matthew Dorrington. It's quite a few. I think that's the first mistake I've ever seen him make. Honestly, that was a bit of an unforced error with traffic. He had a bit of time in hand, and yeah, just the mistake there. And this could give Johnny Elia, if I'm not mistaken, that might give Johnny Elia his first ever win here in the Porsche Club of Great Britain paddock. As you see, Ryan Parkins moves up into the podium places. So yeah, it's all going on. I don't know. I tell you what, I'm glad I just got to commentate, Chaz. I've no idea how you're managing to press all the buttons and talk at the same time.
I just see red numbers when the cars get close together, and I just click them. We've got Paul Stout actually just behind Colin Wynn at the moment. Colin just had a bit of a moment at the beginning of this lap. Whoa! Colin says, "Nah, this is my side of the track, mate. I'm not getting over to that left-hand side. You can do what you want." Stout down the inside, through he goes. Amrik Sashdev is back with Ryan Penny, who had a bit of a moment on that lap as well, and he's dropped down. But looking back though, he's not having a moment now. It may have smiley faces on the front, but it's certainly not a happy-looking Porsche, is that? The front end is very modified at the moment, and it's going to take more than a penny to fix it. I'll tell you that for free. Although Amrik Sashdev works in finance, doesn't he? So I think you could probably have a word with him. Whoa, that was close. That was very close by Ryan Penny. Still racing very closely together though, and that's what we love about it. Julien Noisy, he's making a lot of noise at the back of the field. He's had another accident.
You're only allowed it once.
Okay. Ryan Penny, he's going to try and put the pressure on Amrik Sashdev, but we've seen when Amrik is on his game, he's really quick, isn't he? He has his moments. So we've got Carl Sharkey and Dan Bathy closing down on this, by the way. So this is not over yet. This is, if anything, it's going to get even better.
Yeah, it is. Dan Bathy, listen, these are important points because make no mistake, Dan Bathy is going to be a championship contender. I can feel it. And I think these are really, really critical points. But he's got Carl Sharkey in front of him, who's not an easy guy to get by at all. So this is really fascinating stuff here. They'll be wanting to get past Amrik and Ryan pretty quickly, but that'll be no easy feat. I remember one of the best post-race reactions in the Porsche Club of Great Britain Discord, which kind of acts as a kind of virtual paddock. It's really entertaining. It's great to get to know the guys. And Amrik's. Oh, he moves over under braking. That's not going to work. Oh dear, Dan. But has he? Oh, how has he done that?
I don't know how he kept that out the wall. Oh, by the way, Johnny Healy has apparently the race has got to 20 minutes before 20 laps. So Johnny Elia has taken the win from Matt Dorrington and Ryan Parkins. It's set to either 20 minutes or 20 laps, so it caught me off guard there. Parkins takes third, Crawford is fourth, Baxter Jones is going to be fifth. He's had a really good night, to be fair, as Baxter Jones. Good on him.
He has.
And then James Cummings is going to finish ahead of Stuart Clark if he keeps it on the black stuff. Stuart Clark, another one who's had a good result, but, well, again, it caught us off guard. Oh, it's ended in tears. Oh, heck, let's have a look. Oh, Sachdev's gone wide. Oh, there's a bit of contact and then, yeah, just a correction and then bang. But Johnny Elia takes your race win, everybody. Very deserving winner, Johnny Elia. What a great job he's done. Matt Dorrington finishes second. He'll be happy with that, really, won't he? But obviously unhappy with the fact that he lost the lead halfway through that one, Peter.
I suspect someone of Matt's... Oh, burnout. Oh, my goodness me. Give him 10 points in the championship for that burnout. Oh, very good. I like that. Yeah. Oh, no, that doesn't count, Matt. No, that's on the grass doesn't count. I suspect a man of Matt's ability and Matt's standards, he'll be absolutely furious with himself for making that little mistake. However, didn't have massive consequences. He still gets a lot of points, and I tell you what, Chaz, we are on for a mega championship.
Oh, we are indeed. If it carries on anything like that, I'm honestly going to have flashbacks. It's going to be like a Vietnam flashback when we get halfway through the season. I'll be thinking, when was this accident? Who was going off where? And who was winning what race? Because we're going to see a lot, and I say a lot, of different race winners this season. Johnny Elia takes his first win from Matt Dorrington in second place ahead of Ryan Parkins, Byron Crawford, not Brian, I'm going to carry on saying that. Mark Baxter Jones is fifth, James Cummings is sixth with Stuart Clark in seventh, Angus Archer in eighth position with Paul Rieger and Carl Sharkey. Those two cars with the sevens in are completely inseparable. Dan Bathy 11th, Gavin Hall's 12th, they would have wanted more from that. Luke Holroyd finishes in 13th with Amrik Sashdev in 14th, Andrew Soper 15th ahead of Mark Bowe, Ryan Penny and Paul Stout, with Chris Bowie and Colin Wynn rounding out your top 20. Then it's Mark Johnson, Gilles Gardner, Andrew Shepherd, Gary Tall, Oliver Carwadine 25th, Andrew Marston 2 laps down with Stephen Kershaw, and then Julien Noisy 3 laps down in the end. But wow, that was one hell of a first race meeting to get us underway. And well, someone that started it in a very strong way is Ryan Parkins, who joins us now in the chat. Ryan, that was a bit dramatic, wasn't it, mate? That was a lot of fun by the look of it, though.
Yeah, hello chaps, hello again. Yeah, race 2, I just saw one car fly in the air and the rest upside down, but that's going to happen with the first reverse grid for season 2, isn't it? It's not to be expected.
Yeah, that's it. I've been saying over the course of the broadcast that, a lot of these drivers will be a little bit inexperienced, so we'll potentially see a lot of different drivers just trying to get to grips with it over the first part of the season, and some of them very inexperienced with sim racing in general. Some have been on other sims but not iRacing, but the whole community of it, I imagine, is still just as good as it was in season 1, because you lot all like helping each other a lot, don't you? Especially yourself. I mean, we commented on it a lot, I should say, last season.
Yeah, so everyone, all the new recruits that all come in the past few weeks have all been really involved. Everyone's been diving headfirst, showing their rigs, asking about help for how to set it up, or just like small tweaks here and there, which has been, everyone's more than happy to. And then we have Gavin and Matt Dorrington doing track walks. They take them around the track, showing the off tracks, braking points, all those bits. Everyone can slowly build up, and people have been building up over the practice week. It's been really great to see. It's just we've been doing all these practice races, but they're like in the race 1, me and Matt Dorrington, instant wheel spin off the grid. I'm not sure if that happened to somebody in race 2. If someone done that and went sideways and didn't catch it in time, that was really weird, really weird.
Yeah, it was a shame to see, but I mean, once the race was underway and it filtered out a little bit, it seemed like you were really on it. I mean, there was a lot of great battles with a lot of drivers that, again, with the reverse grid throwing up a very different order, you were able to battle with a lot of different drivers that you normally wouldn't. Did you still enjoy that just as much?
It's great, and when you like, it's totally different to racing on the iRacing official, because here you trust these people, you chat to these people a lot. Like recently we found out who owns what type of dog, so you're actually really putting more of the dog to the driver than anything else, really. But
yeah, Peter did mention them.
Did it? Yeah, it's great. It's a great little it's a great Discord channel Mark Phillips set up. It's really funny. And then, but yeah, I raced with Mark Baxter Jones for a couple corners. That was really good, really tough to try and get past people, and just building up with this rapport with people. Just great fun. And you can trust them, that they're not gonna try and think silly. And they're trying their best out there anyway. And like even the people being lapped, that they're being really considerate. And they are moving out of the way when it is safe to do so, rather than just stopping. I think, well, that's what I encountered anyway. Everyone's still doing a really good job of racing, even when they're not in the battle.
And let me just say as well, I'm very pleased that you're running the number 1 this season, because of the fact that it's sort of saying, look at me, I'm the champion, I'm the one that you've got to aim for. And, there's a bit of pride in wearing that number, isn't there? Because a lot of series and a lot of drivers, I mean, very famously, Valentino Rossi never deviates from wearing 46, which is fair enough, it's a brand. But, I like to see champions wear that number 1. Was it a hard decision to come to that? I mean, it's a bit of a nerdy question to ask, but it's just on my part, really. Was it a hard one to make, or was it just a case of, let's wear the number with pride?
Honestly, no thought went into it whatsoever, because it was purely dictated by Mark Phillips.
Well, there you go then.
It is a dictatorship after all.
It is a dictatorship here.
Bernie Phillips.
I had no choice in the matter, unfortunately. But I'm really happy to have it. I'm really happy to have this, to show everyone, come and get me.
Ryan, does that mean that all the number 225 King Hippo merchandise has got to go in the bin now, thanks to Mark?
No, I sold them all to you for a discount the other day, didn't I? But
Oh!
Well, you can't run the King Hippo on the side of the car and not have the number 1 plate. That just doesn't make sense.
Exactly, you called that. Thank you. Where's Johnny? Get Johnny in here. I want to hear what he has to say. Yeah, great.
I was going to say, I was hoping
we do have
for
Luke
him
to come in though.
It was good to watch you do one of your usual performances out there, Ryan. Very well done, mate. Before we let you go, do you want to give a shout out to anyone?
Just the community. It's been great. I really enjoyed it. All the people who've been watching the broadcasts. friends and colleagues who started watching it because I keep spamming it on Facebook and Instagram. The Porsche Sport, who did my livery, and Porsche Club of Great Britain is just great. I met all the organisers like Mandy. I met Mark and Carl the other week, and Danny Jones. Lovely people. I've really enjoyed it, and thank you very much. Cheers, boys.
Smashing. Great to speak to you, Ryan. Thank you very much, mate, and we'll see you next time round. Right then. Well, he mentioned Porsche Sport there, and it's been a long time coming that we actually get Luke Holroyd in the chat. Luke, mate, good to see you, buddy. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm all right. I don't know why I'm in here, to be honest. I just saw the waiting room empty, so I thought I'd pop in.
Well, we dragged you in now, mate. That's it. There's no escape. That was an interesting opening night. A lot of shenanigans, but it looked like a lot of fun all the same. How did you find it?
Yeah, it was good. I think everyone expected the first race with some new faces in there and a big grid. It was going to be a little bit of carnage. I was pleased with my first race. I think I came 8th, 9th. I gave position back to Paul after I'd kind of bumped him into turn 1 by accident, and then the reverse grid was carnage. Tried to stay out of the way and got taken out. I was just speaking to Carl Sharkey then, because he pitted and I stayed out just out of interest, but I was driving right hand down the whole race down the straight. And they got me in the end, so obviously I should have probably pitted, but I think I still finished in the points, and I think going forward people improve on that reverse grid and they'll get used to the carnage.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I was saying all through the broadcast that a lot of these drivers are very inexperienced when it comes to either iRacing or just sim racing in general, and we saw a lot of improvement for a lot of these drivers last season in the ones that started out with no experience at all, and I think we're going to see the same this time round. Talk to me about the track, though. I mean, Peter and I thought it was a bit of an interesting choice, but it seemed to provide great racing because it's quite an enclosed little circuit, really, but there are a lot of overtaking opportunities, aren't there?
Yeah, I think when Mark Phillips chose to go with this track and everyone kind of whinged and complained at the dictatorship. Sorry, Mark, he'll laugh at that. But yeah, in practice, I really got used to it, and I think if you look at the calendar, there's a lot of shorter tracks. I know Silverstone were doing the national, and it does. I think for the viewers, it provides a bit more action. The pack's bunched up a lot more, so I'm guessing when I watch it back tomorrow, it'll be a really good, interesting race. And in terms of driving it didn't take that long. I think because it's such a short circuit, it's probably easier for most of the drivers to get used to and learn. Some of these tracks where it's over 2 minutes a lap, you can be forever learning it before you even get quick. But with this one, really short, I think a lot of people got used to it. And as you said, the guys from last year, there's some of the guys who were at the back and really still improved massively, and they were overtaking me today, and I was like, oh yeah, I've not improved as much as they have.
Yeah, there was differing levels of skill out there, as there always is, and that's what makes the racing so interesting in this respect, because we see so many differences in pace between a pair of drivers over the course of a race, and when they eventually get together and we see them battle, it's often that just the pure pace of a driver doesn't mean that they can necessarily overtake everybody, and I think there's a bit of bottlenecking sometimes, but again, it just makes it a little bit more exciting, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I think going back to the shorter circuits, it's obviously they're a lot tighter, a lot harder to overtake, and it really separates them from the boys.
Yeah, for sure, mate, for sure. Well, it was great to speak to you, buddy. Hopefully, as the season goes on, we'll see you getting some consistent results out of the car. Before we let you go, do you want to give a shout out to anyone?
Oh, just everyone who's kind of involved with Porsche Sport, to Carl and Gavin and Ryan. I know he's not running the Porsche Sport livery for this championship in particular, but they put in a ton of effort and helped me along the way as well to improve. So thanks to them and you guys and Peter and everyone at Simracersworld for putting on a good show.
Cracking. Thank you very much, Luke. Pleasure to speak to you as always, and we'll see you again very, very soon, mate.
See you soon, guys. Thank you.
Cheers. And I'll tell you what we'll do, Peter. He's been waiting very, very patiently. So what we'll do is we'll drag in Gilles Gardner to come out and have a chat. Gilles, that was a bit of a baptism of fire for you in that one. It looked a bit tough out there. How did you find it, mate?
Yeah, it was a bit brutal. I can't say I had fun, but I did my best to stay out of people's way, and I did, I did get into a bit more of a rhythm in the second race. Once I found some space in the circuit, and I was happy with the times I was turning there. It was what I could do. I wasn't trying to overdo it. And then it was just after that, your rhythm gets thrown by just keeping out of people's way. But it was all right.
Yeah, that's the thing. In these cars in particular, it is hard to get into that rhythm, isn't it? Because the car behaves differently every single time you step on the brakes or put your foot down. It can be a bit of an untamable beast, can't it?
Yeah, and I mean, it's, I was hoping that I would be a little bit closer, but ultimately I needed to find a pace that I could be comfortable and do, a good sequence of laps. And, I was doing some practicing on my own and, knew that I couldn't, get down to this similar times we saw in the practice races, but I got it down to a comfortable level, and then, was able to do, 10 laps, obviously with no one else around. It's very easy to do, but 10 laps within a second of each other, I was pretty happy with that. But, when there's other cars on the circuit and, you're doing your best, that was, I'll reflect on it tomorrow. I'll probably find some more joy in it than I'm finding right now.
Well, we've got Silverstone in 2 weeks' time. Plenty of time to get practice in and put some laps in. Do you reckon that you'll have a bit of a better performance there? I mean, what's your opinion of Silverstone?
Well, I don't want to. Yeah, well, I mean, I love the circuit. Know it well. Probably enjoy it more than this particular circuit. But I look forward to it, and I am surprising myself with the way I've been able to find pace. But I'm, I'll just get to that same point. I'll probably get, I'll be comfortable to find a pace that I can run and know that I'm going to make fewer mistakes. I think it's more important to be really consistent. I'll just stay consistent, and hey, the only place I have to improve is going forward right now because of where I am. But that's opportunity. I probably would have, liked to have been able to be in a position to actually make some overtakes. I didn't really get into that position. The places I gained were, people making mistakes or people, trying to drive around on the roofs, which doesn't work very well. But I didn't do that today, so that I was happy with.
Well, that's fair enough, mate. But it was good to see you still giving it a go, and obviously we'll see.
Oh
you
no, definitely. There wasn't too much of a smile, but it's back now. So
fair play, mate. Well, at least you can look back and enjoy the broadcast as well if you want. There was a lot of great racing all up and down. But just before we let you go,
I would like to see, that's it. It's what you're so focused on what you're doing, and trying to, create that consistency for myself. I really would like to see, what the others were doing. Probably pick up some things from there. I took some sneaky looks during the practice sessions, but I'll just keep learning and as well what you said about the car, really understanding that a lot better. I was doing too much coasting. I'm better at that now. I'm driving it further into the corners. Breaking into the apex is better than I was. So I'll learn more, and we've got those 2 weeks to prepare for the next race.
We do indeed. Well, thank you very much for popping in, Jill. Good to speak to you, mate. Before we let you go, do you want to give a shout out to anyone?
Oh my goodness! Well, if I know my son, which I share the rig with, Ethan. He'll eventually get a chance to watch the broadcast. So shout out to him, and he gave me some tips and pointers to get me up to speed. So, definitely one for him just to tip of the hat with for the help he gave me.
Smashing. Well, great to speak to you, like I say, mate, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Speak to you then. Bye now.
Gilles Gardner, a smashing bloke by the sounds of it as well, lovely guy. Well, that brings us to the end of the night, though, Peter. That was a hell of a race meeting. That we can see a bit of a traffic jam going on in the final chicane right now, but well, that took our breath away a little bit, didn't it?
It did. I don't. You would have thought I would be prepared for that, but I just wasn't. That was amazing. And I think from a sporting perspective, we're in for a real treat this season. I think season 1, Ryan Parkins dominated the championship and did an amazing job. But I think he's not going to have it as easy this year. I mean, or this season, I should say. I keep saying this year. I'm doing a Chaz here. I'm saying morning when it's evening. It's that's now. I'll say this year. Every time you get your own back now. But I think it's going to be Dan Bathy. I mean, I think he's got to get driver of the day for me because he really proved that he can get up there with the very fastest guys, with Ryan, with Gavin, with Matt Dorrington, and he would have been up there in race 2 if it wasn't for an incident that actually happened behind him, and he was an innocent bystander too. So I think we're going to see a lot more new winners. We had another new winner tonight with Johnny Elia. Congratulations to him. So I think that says a lot about the direction the championship's going. And just to get such a massive grid, I'm not entirely sure exactly how many we had, but it was well over 20 cars, 27 cars. Yeah. I think that is a stunning effort, bearing in mind that this whole Porsche Club of Great Britain sim racing community began at the end of April. I think that's just an extraordinary achievement, and kudos to everyone involved.
Yeah, certainly. I definitely agree, mate. Nicely said. But it's been a fantastic first round of the season. Thank you, everybody that has joined us on the stream. Apologies earlier for the crash with the sim, but we'll make sure that things like that do not happen going forward. It's been a brilliant start to the season, like I say. 2 weeks' time, we will be at Silverstone for rounds 3 and 4 of the Porsche Club GB Sim Racing Championship. Thank you very much, Peter MacKay, for joining me on the comms tonight. A pleasure as always. My name is Chaz Draycott. This has been Simracersworld TV, and I'll leave you with this absolute banger of a tune, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Have a good evening, everyone.
Keeps burning, we're invited.